All right, everybody, welcome to the $10 a day traffic plan. This is a live training from Digital Marketer. My name is Russ Henneberry, and I am Director of Editorial at Digital Marketer, and I have a whole bunch of people on the line, but the most important one being Miss Molly Pittman. How's it going, Molly?
Hey guys, doing really well. How are you, Russ?
I'm doing awesome. We also have Lindsay Martyr on the call. We've got Susie Barnes. She's not Susie Barnes anymore. She's Susie Nelson. She got married, and she's on the call as well. She'll be answering questions, and along with Lindsay, and I'll be in the questions area as well. I'm excited for this, Molly. We are going to be talking about paid traffic, and with the constraint, a very interesting constraint, right, of $10 a day. And I think you guys are, I just got finished looking at this slide deck, and I'm absolutely stunned by how much value you guys are going to get here absolutely free on this webinar. And just to introduce Miss Molly, do you want to put up the beautiful...
Awesome, yeah. Hold on, I've got a weird little error going on. Let me fix it. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Yep. So if you want to put up the beautiful photographs of us.
Look at you, Russ.
There's me. There's me. This is a highly photoshopped photo of me. My name's Russ Henneberry, but I'm going to introduce Molly, who is the Vice President and Traffic Manager at Digital Marketer, and one of the best marketers in the world, and certainly the best traffic and media buyer in the universe. Is that a
That's an overstatement.
Is that a bombastic intro? But you know, in the years that she's been at Digital Marketer, she's spent over $2 million on paid traffic, and her and I work together a lot on between me being the content side of things and her being the traffic side of things, generating leads and sales for Digital Marketer. And it says here 300,000 plus leads. I'm guessing we've even surpassed that at this point, Molly. But and Molly gets involved in consulting and advising different brands as well. We've got how many different traffic plans have you built now, Molly?
Hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds of different traffic plans for different brands and businesses. So you guys are in capable hands. You are going to learn some remarkable stuff, and I'm excited, Molly. Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Just to intro Russ is going to have a little piece in this presentation, because you can't really separate, content marketing and paid traffic, any longer. But Russ is our editorial director, and really Russ's job is content. So whether that's the free blog content that you read on our website, if you're a D0LLAR member, any of our execution plans, the weekly trainings, Russ is involved in all of our certifications and mastery courses. So he really has a hand in all the content that's produced at DM. And, really proud of Russ. He took our blog from 0 to it's actually 200,000 unique visitors per month in less than a year. So, Russ has worked with Salesforce, Crazy Egg, marketing, network solutions. I always say marketing solutions, network solutions. So we were really lucky to get Russ. And, happy to have you here, Russ. And now you guys know a little bit about us.
No, this is exciting. We do these webinars a lot, and so but we've never done it with this many people. This webinar is absolutely maxed out right now, guys. So don't go anywhere, because I have a feeling if you jump off this webinar, somebody will jump in your place. We are maxed out on GoToWebinar right now. So.
And just some housekeeping stuff. Like Russ said, I sent him the slides this morning. I had created a deck, and I didn't really like what I had done, so totally redid everything. I didn't sleep very much, but I think that this is one of the most comprehensive presentations that I've ever put together. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and we will run probably an hour and a half. There will be time for questions at the end. We'll try to answer as many questions as possible during the webinar. Lindsay, Susie, and Russ can, try to answer as many questions via chat, but they're also going to ask me questions along the way and at the end. So just so you guys know what to expect. Also, something that we decided to do last minute, we are recording this webinar. Really glad that you guys showed up. We are recording the webinar, but since we can't really, we don't keep anything from our lab members. They really get all of us. So we are going to put the recording and my slides into the Digital Marketer Lab members area. So if you're a lab member, you'll get an email about it. You know where that What's Working Now tab is in your members area. The recording will be there. If you're not a lab member, here's a link for a $1 trial, digitalmarketer.com/lab-trial. And just to be totally upfront, I'm not pitching you guys anything at the end of this presentation. So there's no big pitch. The only thing that I really encourage you to do is, take that $1 trial. It'll bill back at $38.60 a month, so $38.60 if you're interested in sticking around. But Digital Marketer Lab is our continuity program, and there are tons of execution plans that'll show you how to do exactly what I'm going to teach step by step. And you can also jump on calls just like this with Russ and I every week. There are a lot of other perks. You can go to the sales page and learn about it. But I'm not pitching you anything at the end. This is total content. And I just, wanted to get that out of the way. So if you want the recording or you want to check out Lab, digitalmarketer.com/lab trial will get you a $1 trial on that. So are we ready to go, Russ?
Let's rock and roll.
Okay, awesome. So obviously this presentation is about, a $10 a day traffic plan, right? But really what I'm going to teach you is how to create a traffic system for only $10 a day. So, you really can do this on only $10 a day. You really can test on only $10 a day. But if you do want to spend more and test with more, a lot of times we'll start our campaigns, maybe we'll spend $50 a day, but the how we're splitting this up is going to be the same, right? So the way I'm going to explain this, just do the math with however much money that you want to start with. So don't feel like you can only start with $10 a day. You can spend more. But this really is a traffic system, and I'm about to teach you the traffic system that we've really discovered at Digital Marketer over the past year. In the past we were running one-off campaigns on Facebook and Twitter and AdWords, really with the goal of just generating as many leads and sales for the business as possible. And while that did grow the business, it really wasn't a system. It wasn't a way for us to build relationships with people, to get them to come back and buy. We would make a lot of people mad because we would go straight for the sale. So we've created this system for multiple reasons that I'll talk about. But keep in mind that we are talking about multiple advertising campaigns here. We're going to talk about 3 different campaigns, and they all work hand in hand to acquire leads and sales for your business. So first I want you to understand sort of this 3-step funnel. And it starts with awareness, right? So you have a business and you have a product or service in a certain market or niche, and that's your ultimate goal, right? You want to end down here at this conversion. You want to sell whatever you have to offer, and we totally understand that. That's why you're here. But there is, a few steps before that must be completed to get someone to actually purchase. And the way that I really talk about it in terms of traffic, we'll cover in a second. But you have to understand this first. The first step is the awareness phase, right? So you not only have to make people aware of you as a brand or a company or a personality, you need to make someone aware of a problem that they may have, right? Something that they may want to solve. And once you've completed that awareness phase, that person's really going to move to the evaluation step. So not only are they going to evaluate, do I want to solve this problem, right? Is this problem worth my time or money to solve? They're also going to evaluate, is this particular product or service in this particular company, is this the best way for me to solve this particular problem that I have? So that's really when they're in the evaluation stage. And from there, hopefully, they'll move to the conversion stage. And this is really where they take action and they're going to buy something from you. So just so you understand those first 3 steps before we move into the traffic system that we've really developed here at Digital Marketer. And first, why do we need a system, right? You might be thinking, Molly, I just want to run some ads and make money and generate leads, and I totally understand this system will produce those results for you. But there are a few reasons that this came about, right? We're constantly testing here at Digital Marketer, constantly spending money on ads to figure out what's working so that we can teach you guys. And this is all come from that, right? This has all come from all of the traffic campaigns that we've run. So number one, traffic platforms are changing. And we'll talk about Facebook mostly on this webinar because that's where our audience is at Digital Marketer, but also it's one of the biggest traffic platforms and really, can work for almost any market. But again, if your market isn't on Facebook, you need to think about other traffic platforms where your market is hanging out. So like I said, traffic platforms are changing. They don't want you to go right for the sale, right? As a Facebook user or Twitter user, AdWords, they want people to enjoy using their platforms. And if they're constantly being hit with ads that are asking them to buy something, eventually users are not going to enjoy, using that platform any longer. So, really the system has developed, number one, to get along with traffic platforms, to abide by their rules, and to really show that we're trying to give value to people, while also, of course, making a more direct response approach of asking them for money. The online buying cycle is changing, right? People can use Google to look for different products. They can do research. It's taking a little bit longer for people to buy because they realize they have more options as the online space grows. So again, that's another reason that we need this system. We need more touch points to really move them down the marketing funnel. As users, this really goes with the first two, but we are changing, right? We know that there are other competitors out there online for whatever product or service we're thinking about purchasing. So our mindset is changing, especially, it's even different than it was, 5 years ago, definitely 10 years ago. So this traffic system really has to mimic that change in consumer behavior. And lastly, we really want to automate relationship building. At Digital Marketer and all of our sister properties, we definitely want to spend $1 and make $1 or more back. We want to break even. The purpose of traffic is to make money and acquire customers, but we also want to build relationships with these people. We want them to become brand evangelists. We want to be a good guy. We want to show how authentic we are. And this traffic system really is a reflection of that. So first, let's talk about traffic temperature. And this is something that Russ and I came up with probably 5 or 6 months ago, wouldn't you say, Russ? And it's really a reflection of the 3-step marketing funnel that I showed you earlier in the presentation, but this is the way that we see and that we talk about traffic at Digital Marketer, and I'm going to reference this throughout the rest of the presentation, and it's very important for you to understand this in your business. So we have cold, warm, and hot audiences. And I'm going to go through what each of those means and show you examples of each. But I want you to remember this graphic. I'm going to refer back to it. This is what we call traffic temperature. And it's all about how well you know an audience. And are they a cold audience, warm audience, or hot audience? And this is very important when structuring your traffic system as a whole. So each campaign that you're going to run, right? We said that we were going to show you 3 different traffic campaigns that we run that really form this traffic system. So you have to think of them as working together, and I'll show you exactly how they work together. But you also have to understand that they each have a specific objective or goal. So it's one of 3 things. Your campaign, the purpose is either to introduce your business to people in your market who have never heard of you before. So this is more of an indoctrination, hi, nice to meet you, we're a digital marketer. A specific objective or goal might be to convert a site visitor to a lead. So more of an acquisition campaign. The goal of this campaign is to turn people who have had contact with us and kind of know who we are. We want to turn them into a lead. We want to get them on our email list. We want to get them down our sales funnel. A campaign might also have the objective of selling a higher dollar product to your best repeat customers, so more of a monetization play. And if there's someone who has bought from you before, it's more than appropriate to offer them another, related product, or maybe the same product again or the same service again, if that suits your business. So when you're thinking about these campaigns, make sure they always have a goal first. Anything we do at Digital Marketer, what is the goal of this? If we don't know why we're doing it, we quit. So your traffic campaigns, each of them should have a specific goal of either indoctrination, acquisition, or monetization. Like I said earlier, these campaigns are not always platform specific, and although I'm going to talk a lot about Facebook, you really have to think about who is your ideal customer? Who is your target market? You have to understand who you're talking to, but you also have to understand at what stage you are in the relationship, right? So this is really speaking to a few things. You have to think about what platform you're on. If you're trying to reach kids 13 to 17, you're probably not going to use Facebook, right? YouTube would be a more appropriate platform. So really think back, and Russ could probably pop a blog post that I wrote about how to find where your market is hanging out online and how to pick the right traffic platform into the chat box. But think about that. This system can be used on any traffic platform. So these campaigns are not always specific. If you pick the wrong platform and your market's not there, that's going to be the first of your problems. And then you also have to think about your copy and who you're targeting. And how are you speaking to them? At what stage of the relationship are you with this particular audience? So I know it might seem a little confusing or a little bit high level. I promise I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty stuff that you guys are here for. And just to, explain a little bit about what I'm going to cover. I know you're probably asking, okay, Molly, I understand that these campaigns are different, but, what do the ads look like? How do they differ? What offers do I present? And at what stage? When do I actually ask them to buy? That's really important, right? And how much do I spend on each campaign? And that's really what we're about to move into. But first I want to show you some examples and really explain these 3 different traffic temperatures, because if you don't understand the basis of this, you really won't understand how these campaigns work. So cold traffic, goals and offers, right? So cold traffic are people that have never heard of you before, right? This blue circle here in this diagram. Cold traffic, they've never heard of you before. They've never heard of your brand. They've never heard of you as a person, your product or services. So cold traffic is really the most important campaign because it's the new blood of your business, right? If you're not going out and bringing new people to your site and to your social media platforms, to your email list, your business isn't going to grow. If you have a brand new business or you don't have a business yet and you're like, Molly, I'm just here to learn traffic, that's totally cool. You must start with cold traffic, right? If you don't have anything to work with, this is definitely the first place where you need to begin. If you have an existing customer base, website traffic, leads, etc., it's still really essential to run traffic to cold audiences, or like I said, you'll continue to swim in the same pond of existing leads and customers, and your business won't grow. So this is really the awareness stage, right? Going back to one of those first slides. But this definitely doesn't mean that you're taking your product or service straight to cold traffic. Like Ryan Dice always says, that's like meeting someone at the bar and asking him or her to marry you. A few people have said, I did that and it worked, and of course there are always those situations, but that's a little bit creepy. It doesn't make sense in terms of a relationship, taking a $5,000 product straight to people who have never heard of you before. So really think of cold traffic as the, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Molly and I'm from Kentucky and I have a dog and I work at Digital Marketer. Here's a little bit about me, but I'm also going to give you value. I'm going to teach you about something that I know you're interested in because I know who I'm targeting, right? So you use cold traffic to introduce your brand to your market, to give them value, to build trust, that's really important, and to establish yourself as an authority in the market. So the goals of cold traffic, again, every campaign needs to have a goal. So the goals here are really introduction, indoctrination, pixeling. Pixeling is very, very important. A pixel is a little piece of code that you can put on your website, and when someone visits your site, their browser is cookied. So once they go back to Facebook or Twitter, hop around the web, and maybe you're using display retargeting, you can retarget them with ads. And that's going to be the basis for a lot of what I teach you here today. But really, cold traffic, guys, we're trying to get them to the website. We're trying to get them, to like your Facebook page, which isn't a pixel, but it's a touch point. We're trying to get them to your even if you have your blog post as just a landing page and you don't have a website, it's okay. You can still pixel these people. So that's really important. We're really trying to build media so that we can run ads to these people later. Another goal is segmentation. So for example, if they click on one of our posts, say about email marketing, we know that they're not just interested in digital marketing as a whole, we know that they're specifically interested in email marketing, so we can make them a more relevant offer. Imagine if you had a recipe site and you had your blog split into vegetarian, gluten-free, and vegan. You're able to make a much more relevant offer down the line if you know that they're not just interested in healthy recipes. You know that they're interested in gluten-free, or that they're a vegan, or they're a vegetarian. So another goal of cold traffic is really to figure out what that person's specifically interested in. But we just talked about the goals of cold traffic, what cold traffic is, so you know who you're talking to, people who have never heard of you before. So what should you talk to them about, right? So now we're going to talk about cold traffic offers. And when I use the word offers, this doesn't mean that we're offering them, a product or service. An offer, in the way that I'm using it, can be a blog post, a video, a social media update, etc. So when I'm using that term, make sure you adjust your expectations there. So here's just a list of offers that we would run to cold traffic, just to give you guys some ideas of how you can really put that value first. And then we're going to move into some real life examples. So, different offers that we would run cold traffic to would be things like blog posts, of course, social media updates, content videos, right? These could be on YouTube, they could be embedded on your blog, just any sort of content video that really gives value. Podcasts, we run a lot of traffic to, digitalmarketer.com/podcast. We just launched a podcast called Perpetual Traffic. It's a lot about what I'm talking about today, but it's been a great way for us to really reach out to cold audiences and give value first, and give information and education first. Lead magnets, and you'll see, I'll have lead magnet in cold traffic and warm traffic, but a lead magnet is something specific and something that you can give in exchange for an email address, right? So we have Facebook ad templates and 212 blog post ideas, all kinds of lead magnets that we exchange for a lead, for an email address. A quiz or a survey is a great thing to run to cold traffic, right? People love quizzes. People don't love surveys as much. I probably should have just left that as a quiz. But people love to find out things about themselves. So quizzes are great things to run to cold traffic. White papers, if your market's more B2B, great cold traffic offers. So here are some examples from us here at DM. Here on the left is an ad that goes to a blog post about email marketing, right? So we're pegging people and pixeling people that we know are interested in email marketing. And it's just a really extensive, wonderful blog post that Ryan or Russ, I can't remember who wrote it, but it explains our email marketing system. Obviously, it doesn't explain everything that's in, our email marketing product, which is $2,000, but it gives you a nice little outline, and it has a cool infographic. In the top right-hand corner, those are ads that we run on Twitter constantly to a blog post about, 7 lessons learned from 567 Facebook ad campaigns in 1 year. A nice graphic there. In the bottom right, we're running YouTube ads to content, and that's Russ. If everybody wants to just marvel at that, I stopped that at the perfect time, right?
I look pretty excited in that picture.
You're so pumped. But we're not asking them for anything in this content video. This is simply giving them a little bit of content and leading them back to the blog. And so we're paying for that on YouTube to cold traffic. Other examples on the left, I thought this was a great example of an ad that goes to a quiz. It's a free social anxiety test. And I don't think I have social anxiety, but I took the test because, again, everyone wants to know what their score is on a certain topic, right? And then after they take the quiz, obviously you give your, actually they didn't ask me for my email address when I took the quiz. I can't remember, this was a little bit ago, but again, a quiz is a great thing to run to cold traffic, whether you're using it to pixel or for lead gen. On the right-hand side, this is a white paper that Adobe's running on LinkedIn. Again, looking at, Adobe's market is definitely more B2B. That's why they're running LinkedIn ads, right? So their traffic system is being built off platforms like LinkedIn. And a white paper is an appropriate ad to run on that specific platform to cold traffic. On the left is a social media update from IMS, right? And it was just this super cute video of a kitten pouncing around. I couldn't pass it up. And they're pixeling people who watch this video of this cat, right? So a cute, just attractive sort of branding video to run to cold traffic. In the top right hand, this is on Twitter from realtors, and it's 10 cheap ways to increase a home's value. If you own a home, and especially if you're looking to sell in the near future, of course you're going to want to read about 10 cheap ways to increase a home's value. So great content that leads over to a blog post just promoted on Twitter, and very smart. They're calling out their audience really well with that piece of content. In the bottom right-hand corner, this really is, the latest app trends of 2015. And App Annie is, I think it's a marketing service for, or some sort of marketing program for apps. So if you're marketing an app yourself or you own an app, of course you're going to be interested in the latest trends of 2015. So more of a white paper there, and a great idea to cold traffic. Here are two more examples. The top is promoted stories. These are content distribution networks like Taboola and Outbrain, which I don't recommend unless you're really ready for scale. But again, a great way to get your blog posts in front of more people and people that don't know you. On the bottom, this is a YouTube video, and this is for, they sell basketball training, online basketball training programs, right? And so he's teaching you, a deadly 3-move combo and running an ad, to this video here that's free. And any kid, right? They're targeting boys, 13 to 18. Of course, they're going to want to learn this deadly 3-move combo. And then, of course, they have a nice call to action up in the left-hand corner to get a free workout. So you'll see sort of how that marketing funnel is working there. But just to go over some examples so you guys know sort of what's appropriate to run to cold traffic, right? And it's lots of value, lots of blog posts, videos, social media updates. How can you introduce yourself and not annoy the audience, right? Give them value first. It's very important. So now we're going to move to warm traffic. Are we good to go, Russ? I'm going to take a drink of water really fast.
Yeah, and a lot of people saying like, making suggestions of other content types that might work well to cold traffic, like infographics.
Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
Great idea. Yeah, you're not limited to my list at all. Those are just some examples, guys. So anything you can think that's ungated, that you're not asking people for, an opt-in, although that can work to cold traffic sometimes. Whatever suits your business. And
anything that can entertain, inspire, or educate your market is great at the top of the funnel. And if you're providing it ungated, so you're not asking for an email address, you're not asking for a purchase, you're just offering it out there for free. And then the other question that I think was key, this is such a huge part of what Molly just covered, and so I wanted to go back over it, was a couple people saying, like, how are they segmenting before they get the email address? Like, how are we doing that?
Right. I'll cover that a little bit later. I'll touch on it, but we're doing it through, basically when we're pixeling people through Facebook or Google, we're using the URLs, right? So we're using keywords in the URL. So every blog post that we have that's about Facebook advertising has Facebook in the URL. And therefore we're populating audiences of everyone who's hit a URL on our site that has that keyword. And I know it might sound complicated. If you guys do decide to join Lab, there's a step-by-step instruction guide that execution plan, we call them, that I wrote that explains exactly how to do that. It's called the Boomerang Traffic EP. So if you want to learn the nitty-gritty on setting up that segmentation and the retargeting I'll talk about later, you can definitely find that there.
Yeah, so the big thing to understand at this point, guys, is just that when somebody clicks on a link from wherever it is, doesn't matter where it is, when it comes out of an email, it comes out of a Facebook status update, no matter where it comes from, to view content on, let's say, getting bigger biceps, that person has segmented themselves. All right, they've
right.
shown interest in a particular topic, and you are able to drop a cookie on their machine essentially that says this person's interested in whatever you want to segment by. You might want to segment by people who are interested in biceps, or you might want to go a little bit larger and say this person's interested in weight training. All right,
and again,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, and yeah, guys, I'll get through the warm traffic and hot traffic really quickly, and I'll go and show you, really specific examples of this stuff, right? So don't feel like you need all of these assets to get up and running. You don't at all. You just need one for each kind of traffic. So I'm sorry if I'm overwhelming. I just want to give you as many examples because I know there are lots of different kinds of business owners out there.
Yep. No, I think we're good. I think that was one really key thing is that at the top of the funnel there, we are segmenting these cold audiences.
Awesome.
And so let's rock and roll.
Okay, cool. So we'll talk a little bit about warm traffic and the goals and offers related to this type of traffic, which is right here in the middle. So you want to think about warm traffic as your acquaintances, right? So you've met them, you know who you are, you've introduced yourself, and they've shown interest back. That's important. These people have clicked, or they've liked your Facebook page, or they subscribed to you on YouTube, and they've showed interest in return. So although it's not a very developed relationship, right, you guys have connected in some sense and really started a relationship. So warm traffic could be, leads that opted into your email list that you've uploaded to your traffic platform, people who have visited your website and you pixeled them like we talked about, Facebook fans, Twitter followers, YouTube subscribers. So anyone, again, that you've had a two-way street and a touch point with, that is going to be your warm audience. But keep in mind that these people haven't bought something from you yet. So these people are familiar with your business and market, but they weren't interested enough to buy yet. They still need to be convinced, or they just need more, right? They need more from you. They're still in the evaluation stage, to reference back to what we were talking about at the beginning. So again, maybe they visited your blog and read one of your posts on how to play the guitar, but they didn't opt in or buy, and that's okay. The goal of your cold traffic campaigns are just to get them there, right? So now you're going to run ads to your warm traffic that encourages them to convert to a lead or buyer. And again, don't freak out, guys. I'll show you exactly what this looks like here in a second. So you've already introduced yourself. They're familiar with who you are and what you're about. So it's time to make the move, right? So the goals of warm traffic are really simple. So you're either trying to generate leads or low dollar sales. And again, this totally depends on the structure of your business. For a digital marketer, we go for the lead. We want someone to opt in for a lead magnet so that they'll enter our funnel and hopefully join Digital Marketer Lab. For a company like ours, like Survival Life, that sells a lot of physical products and the business structure is different, a lot of times they'll go straight for the low dollar sale, right? A credit card knife or a little gadget that's going to be really interesting. So those are really the goals of warm traffic. You're trying to generate leads or generate low dollar sales. So this is where the magic really starts to happen, right? So you know who you're talking to. You're talking to people who already are acquainted. That's not a word. Acquainted with you. People who are already familiar with you. So what are you going to talk about? And again, these offers, you're not limited to these offers at all. These are just some ideas and examples. Lead magnets, and again, I had that in cold traffic too. But a lead magnet works especially well once you've warmed up the traffic, right? And you know that they're specifically interested in a topic. A quiz or survey also works to warm traffic, especially if they're taking the quiz and you're asking them to opt in to get the results. That's a great way to generate leads there. They already put the time in to take the quiz. Of course they're going to opt in for the results. Free or paid webinars. You guys might have seen ads for this webinar that we're on right now. And most of the ads that we were running, this was a free webinar, most of the ads we were running were to people who had visited our website or were on our email list, right? We were targeting our warm traffic with this free webinar. So this is a perfect example. If you came in from one of those ads or you saw one of those ads, we were following this model to get you on this webinar. So I think that's pretty cool. Flash sales, low dollar offers, like I was just talking about. A product demo, if you're a SaaS or you sell software, once they get to know you, a demo of your product is perfectly appropriate to warm traffic. branding videos. So, you know, we had this in cold traffic too, but if they need to get to know you a little bit better, right? People will react differently. Some people will buy really quickly. Some people will see your ads for 90 days and wait to buy. So adding a cool little branding video in there that, you know, really tells them about your company and you know, what makes you different. Those branding videos work wonders to continue to warm up traffic. A book, free or paid, a great offer to warm traffic. A free trial, again, if you have some sort of continuity program, a free trial or even a $1 trial is a great offer to warm traffic. And again, guys, not limited to these. These are just ideas. And here are some examples. On the left is a little email timer that we sell for $10, and we sell this to people who we know are interested in email marketing because they've read about email marketing on our website. That little $10 sale, flash sale, it's a great way to convert them into a buyer quickly. On the right, Ryan, we're targeting people who have visited our site with, it's Ryan, and he's telling you about his book. And I think it's $9.99 or $12.99. I forgot. I think it's $9.99. Again, a low dollar. A book is easy. Everyone's familiar with books. Most people like to read. It's a great offer to make to people who are just getting to know you. And that's just a YouTube ad there. On the left is a funnel training that we ran a few months ago. So, you know, this was a free training just like the one you're on right now. So we ran ads to people who are already familiar with us. On the right, you'll see a $1 trial ad that we've run to warm traffic. So it's, you know, the same offer that you're getting on this webinar, join lab for $1. A great way to get people into continuity once you've warmed them up a little bit. On the left is an ad that I got from GoDaddy after I visited their website, and I was looking through their products, and they're offering a $1 trial here. Get a domain, website builder, and email for $1 per month. So another great offer to warm traffic. Same thing on the right. AdRoll is all about retargeting, and they retargeted me with this ad, which is a report. It's a lead magnet, and you opt in to download this report. Again, I got this ad after I visited their website, so a great offer to make to warm traffic is a lead magnet. On the right, you'll see a free trial of NatureBox, and they send you healthy snacks every month, right? So I had seen their ads, their initial ads that were more informational, and sort of scrolled through their website, and then I was hit with this free trial ad. Very, very cool. Same thing on the left is a free trial for HipChat, which is actually the internal communication software that we use at Digital Marketer to chat as a team. But I thought that was a really creative ad to warm traffic. Of course, they didn't know that I was a buyer because it was purchased under the company, and I log into Facebook with a different email than I sign into HipChat. But from their perspective, I was a prospect and they were offering me a free trial. Okay, we're ready to move to hot traffic, and this one will be quick, and then we'll move into the 3 campaigns, really what you guys are here for, but I really want you to understand these 3 different types of traffic. Are we still good to go, Ross?
We're doing good. You're doing
awesome.
Great.
Sorry, another drink of water there. It's been a big day here. Woo. Okay, so hot traffic, this is the last traffic temperature, right? And this one's definitely going to be the shortest because no one is doing this correctly, and it drives me nuts. So hot traffic is your buyers, right? And sometimes it can be people who have opted in or, sort of are on the edge of warm and hot. But really think about this as people who have purchased something from you, right? This is your hot traffic. These are people who have bought something, they've already committed, and they know you really, really well. You've moved them through this relationship process, and they know you really well. So I see a lot of people who just stop with traffic there, right? And, although email marketing is going to become a big player now for this person that they're a buyer, don't quit running media to them. It's crazy to me. A lot of people are just using traffic for acquisition, and they're not thinking about using media to run ads to their buyers to increase their customer value and to make more money, right? So that you can spend more money on traffic and grow your business. So, like I said, you're either wanting to increase their value as a customer and get them to buy again, or reactivate them. So remind them that you still exist, right? A lot of times people will buy from you and they'll kind of forget that you exist. Use media to stay in front of them. So like I said, most of your communication with hot traffic is going to be through email marketing, but you also want to continue to use retargeting ads to further monetize them and keep them connected with your company. So goals of hot traffic, activation, remind a customer who hasn't purchased in a while that you still exist, right? Or see if they're interested in a product that's different from what they purchased. A goal is also, further sales and maybe higher dollar sales, right? Whatever your, sort of marketing funnel looks like, whatever you sell as a product or service, is there something that you can sell them again? Or is there something higher dollar that you can sell them? And sort of how can you use traffic to do so? So you're talking to hot traffic, these buyers, so what are you going to talk about? So some examples of offers are events, right? If someone's bought from you and loves you enough, they'll probably come to an event, right? That's why I love our annual event, Traffic and Conversion Summit. It's all of the people that we know really well and newcomers too, which is exciting. But I know that I can go there and I can meet, most of our lab members and most of our machine members because they want to come meet us in person. A paid webinar is a great offer to hot traffic, and the paid webinar obviously would sell something on the webinar. High dollar offers, maybe a done-for-you service. Whoop. Okay, events, paid webinar, high dollar offers, or a done-for-you service if that makes sense in your business. So again, guys, you're not limited to these offers. You could even run content to hot traffic to remind them that you still exist, right? But for monetization, events, paid webinars, high dollar offers, done-for-you services are all great. And I have two examples for this, and they're both from us because, like I said, not many companies are doing this. But on the left was when we had a done-for-you funnel service. So the ad said, need help building your sales funnel? I'll build it for you. Learn more below. And they opted in and put down a deposit to get on a sales call for us to build a funnel for them. On the right is an ad for our annual event, Traffic and Conversion Summit, and this ad is specifically speaking to people who had attended the event in the past. They were past buyers. So we called them out and the messaging was directed to them. Let's do it again, 65% off early bird prices. So two examples of great offers you can make to hot traffic, a done-for-you service, and an event. So just a little sort of commercial, everything I just talked about in terms of traffic temperature, again, totally essential to this system. And we have an entire call under our office hours tab inside of Lab that discusses in further detail the idea of traffic temperature. If you want to join and learn more, it's digitalmarketer.com/lab-trial. So sort of to bookend that topic so that you understand the conceptual system. And now we're going to move into specifics, if that's okay with you, Russ.
Yeah, just another, we do a call like this every Thursday, guys. So
right.
Inside Digital Marketer Lab, which you now have a $1 trial to. So
right. And actually, if you're interested in how we sell event tickets with paid traffic, that's the call that we did last week. So I gave a similar presentation to this all about event tickets. So just to show you the value, I think we have over 400 calls recorded in there now, Russ and I do. So pretty cool to go back and look in those.
Yep.
Okay, so what does this look like, right? What do these 3 campaigns look like? And what I'm about to talk about, I don't know how this is going to go exactly. I just bear with me, but I think this is a really cool part of the presentation, the way that we're going to go through this. So in terms of the $10 a day, right? How do you divvy that up between these traffic campaigns, right? So we're speaking to a cold audience, a warm audience, and a hot audience. So if you look at the numbers, you would spend $6 a day on cold traffic, reaching out, getting new blood into your business, $3 a day turning the warm traffic into leads or low-dollar buyers, and then you would spend $1 a day retargeting down your sales funnel, whatever that looks like, right? So how can you turn, your hot traffic into repeat buyers, or how can you further push them down the sales funnel, right? And that will change sometimes. Maybe you're spending $1 to turn people who have opted in into $7 buyers, right? And that's okay. But really it's $6 to pure content, straight to cold traffic, $3 to try to turn them into a lead magnet or low dollar buyer depending on your business, and then $1 to retarget, in terms of that low dollar offer if you had gone for the lead magnet and the warm traffic, or maybe you're going to ask them to buy something of higher value there with that retargeting down the funnel. And I'm going to show you examples, but just so you see how this ratio really works, 6, 3, and 1 to make 10. That equals 10, right, Russ? So that's the ratio that we're working with here. So again, cold traffic, $6 a day. So campaign number 1, and the example that I'm going to use here is cold traffic to a blog post, right? So why do we want to send cold traffic to a blog post? Again, it allows people to get to know you, establishes you as an authority in the market. It's cheap. You'll see that the ads scream content. People know that they aren't going to be sold something. And if your targeting is right and your copy's right, the clicks, depending on your market, should be relatively cheap versus sending traffic to a landing page. Also, you're building assets, right? So those custom audiences that we were talking about pixeling people, right? So you can see the size, and I took this screenshot a long time ago, but we've pixeled so many people at Digital Marketer that we could run ads for days and days, probably months now, and not have to really reach out to cold traffic because we've really focused on building these assets. But we can run ads to these people at any time, right? So, it's kind of similar to an email list, although you don't own it. You're not owning these email addresses in an email service provider. It is within the traffic platform, whether you're on Facebook or Google, etc., and you have these retargeting lists that you can leverage at any time. Very, very important, especially as ad costs rise, especially as traffic platforms become more crowded. So let's talk about, I did campaign type number 1/A because I do have 2 types of cold traffic campaigns that I want to talk about. Again, I'm speaking about the Facebook ad platform here, but this is applicable to really any traffic platform. So the first campaign type, number 1-A, would be cold traffic to a blog post, right? So the budget is $6 a day. The success metric is cost per pixel. How much are we paying to get somebody over to our site and to pixel them? So if you're setting up a Facebook ad for this, right, you're setting up a Facebook campaign, you know that when you select create ad, the first thing Facebook's going to present you with is a menu of different objectives for the campaign, right? So you can either tell Facebook that you want clicks, you want to optimize for conversions, you want to boost a post, you want to promote an event. There's all kinds of options there. When you're sending cold traffic to a blog post, you want to select clicks to website there. If for some reason that doesn't work for you, test the boosted post, make the post onto your Facebook page and test page post engagement. But most likely 90% of the time from all the testing we've done on our different properties, the clicks to website objective is going to give you the lowest cost per pixel. So your objective is clicks to website. When you go to bid, right? So after you say I want to spend $6 a day, you're going to go to the bidding section and you're going to bid for clicks. When you do so, they're going to give you a range, right? So it's going to say 20 to 40 cents. You're going to put 46 cents in. You're going to bid high because we want to really own that ad inventory, right? We want to know that our ad's going to be shown, you know, to whoever we're targeting, and we want to fail fast if we're going to fail, right? We want to get data back quickly. So bidding higher will make sure you win that space and you're able to get good results back very quickly. So in terms of targeting, and again, guys, this is Facebook specific, but you know, same thing applies on Twitter, right? You can target handles on Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. You know, but when we're doing cold traffic to a blog post on Facebook, we're going to do interest targeting. We're going to target different interests with a potential audience size total of 500,000 to 1 million. So after we list out our different interests, which I'll show you here in a second, you know, the potential audience size to cold traffic definitely performs best when it's about 500,000 to 1 million. So we're targeting cold traffic interests, which are essentially people talking or interacting with certain Facebook pages. And we want the potential audience size to be 500,000 to 1 million. So when you're thinking about targeting to cold traffic, again, no matter what platform you're on, you need to think about targeting in a sense of the but no one else would trick. And thank you, Russ, for creating this graphic because it's really helpful. So think about it like this, depending on your niche, obviously. Think about it like this. A golf enthusiast would know who Bubba Watson is, but no one else would, right? So you're really trying to target that red inner circle, and don't get this confused with the cold, warm, hot graphic. This is just showing you that you're trying to find the avid part of your market, guys. If you're selling golf products or you're selling golf attire, you wouldn't target Tiger Woods, right? It's too broad. He's an international celebrity. People know him for other reasons than golf. So non-golfers, you would be targeting non-golfers. That wouldn't be specific enough for this cold traffic campaign. You're really trying to reach the avid people in the market that will eventually buy what you're asking them to buy. Even Phil Mickelson, he might make the cut. Haha, you get the pun there, Russ?
Yeah.
Because casual golfers know who Phil Mickelson is. I know who he is from watching golf with my dad, but that doesn't mean that I'm a golfer, right? I'm not. So again, it's not specific enough. Bubba Watson, only golf enthusiasts, and you know, he's gotten better over the past little bit, so more people might know who he is. But 6 months ago when we sort of figured out this analogy, Bubba Watson is a mid-level golfer that people know. He's big enough to show up on the interests in Facebook, but he's specific enough that a golf enthusiast would know who Bubba Watson is, but no one else would. So please use this analogy when you think about your market and you think about your targeting, right? A blank enthusiast, whatever your niche is, would know who blank is, but no one else would. Very, very important. I can't harp on that enough, because if your targeting's off, your whole system will be off, because you're going to put your message in front of people who don't care. So definitely pay attention to the targeting. And when we do go about, figuring out who we're going to target based on a niche, we either sit back and think, and this is what you should do, Am I this person, right? Maybe you're selling something about sewing. Do you sew? Are you an avid person who's sewing 2 to 3 times a week? If so, then you can answer these questions yourself. Maybe you're not. A lot of times we sell in markets where no one here in this office is that person. So we need to try to find someone who is, right? Call them up, ask them these questions, figure out as many answers about that person as you can. If you aren't able to do that, then you're just going to have to do some good old research with Google. Look through forums. Where are these people hanging out? What can you figure out about this market? And these are the kind of questions that you would ask. And for example, you know, for blogging, we have an entire funnel. We have like 4 funnels actually that segment and talk about the topic of blogging. And so whenever we first entered the blogging niche, I called Russ, he's our content marketer, and I asked him these questions. And you might not have the answers to all these questions. They might not be applicable every time, but that's okay. But make lists of things like, who are the authority figures, thought leaders, or big brands in your niche? What books, magazines, newspapers does your ideal customer read? What events do they attend? Again, if they're attending events about this topic, they love it. What websites do they frequent on a day-to-day basis? You know, where are they hanging out online? Where do they live? Again, this one might not be applicable, but it could be really important if you're a brick and mortar. You know, where do these people live? That could be a really big defining point for your targeting. What tools do they use, right? And this could even go into software. And Russ sent me a big list of blogging software I had never heard of before, right? And we were able to really reach these people by targeting those who were surrounding and liking the softwares. And then really, what's specifically unique about this group? Get into their head, do your research. There really is nothing more important than picking the right traffic platform and then making sure your targeting is really specific. So just for an example, back to the golf example we were talking about, this is within the Facebook platform. You'll see that we have a nice potential reach over on the right-hand side of 760,000 people. So right there between the 500,000 and 1 million mark. Perfect, totally good to go. Again, your location, your age, your gender, guys, when you're first starting out, you know, you definitely have to designate a location. If your business is location centric, you know, definitely go with the city or state or whoever you serve. But, you know, start with the location pretty simple, right? Like this one, I just kept it in the United States. The age range and the gender I left pretty wide open because you never really know who your market is, right? Especially right off the bat when you're setting up these tests. For example, with the Survival Life company that, you know, that we own, the media that we were running to older white males because we thought that that was our market. You know, of course they were the ones that thought the world was going to end. But we found out that there were a ton of women buying too. So don't pigeonhole yourself there. But really to the interests and look at how specific we got. Bubba Watson, John Daly, Pebble Beach golf links, right? So that's a golf course that you know, avid golfers really like. And I got that one from my dad. Ricky Fowler, same thing. The Players Championship is a mid-level you know, golf tournament. It's not the PGA, or it is in the PGA, I think. I'm sorry. It's not the Masters. It's not the French, I was going to say French Open. I'm totally screwing this up. It's not any of the big tournaments, right? The Players Championship is a little bit smaller, and so that was a great targeting option here for these interests. So really what I'm getting at, guys, again, specificity is so important. And, you know, why did this convert so much better than interests like PGA, Tiger Woods, ESPN? A lot of people would get lazy and use those broad interests, but it's too broad. You're not going to reach your market if you don't do your research here. Are we good to go, Russ?
Yeah, looking good. I think
Awesome.
the tool we're looking at here is called Facebook audience insights. There's a number
Well,
of.
this is actually
This
inside
is
of Ads Manager. So this is when
the
you're
Ads Manager.
yeah, when you're setting up your ad, it'll look just like this.
Oh,
So when you go to set up your cold traffic, you'll just insert your interest just like here. And if you start to enter one or two, like I entered Bubba Watson and it gave me some options, you know, it'll autofill some more options. There's also a tool called Audience Insights that we published a blog post on the blog today about that you can use to really do research too.
I'll pop that blog post into the chat box.
Awesome. But again, 760,000 people sitting pretty over there for potential reach. So now let's look at some ad copy and some examples of these ads that we would run to cold traffic. So this is a post that Russ is going to talk about here in a second. It's a blog post, and I'll let him talk about why the blog post is great. But notice the ad on the left, guys. Look how much copy is on the top, right? We're really explaining what this is, right? We're using a nice little branding image here to, you know, we're content marketing myth busting, right? Rebuttal, the actual greatest misconception in content marketing. This is a great piece of content to run to cold traffic. Not only will we attract people that are interested in content marketing and we can make them blogging offers, this ad screams content, right? You look at this and you know this is a piece of content. This is how your ads to cold traffic need to look. Here's another example. If you just want to come right out and say it, and this is from Bree or Betty Rocker. She goes by Betty Rocker. Great in the fitness market. She's actually going to be on office hours inside of Lab this Thursday to talk a lot about this stuff and her Instagram strategy in particular. But notice this piece of content, she put blog post in brackets, right? She's not hiding anything here, right? I'm going to give you a ton of value. And the image is very branded to her. It speaks to the end result, 5-step food prep and recipe guide for a lean, healthy lifestyle, right? So she's coming right out and saying, this is content, and sending them over to a piece of content that has a lot of value. So just another example there for you guys. And here's sort of a breakdown, and I'm sorry this is kind of ugly. I made these and our designer didn't have a chance to sort of spice it up, but I used good old Snagit.
Those look fantastic. What do you think?
Thanks. Just some guidelines to really go with. This is sort of a template for how your cold traffic ads should look, whether you're sending to a video, whatever you're sending to. Make sure you're really text heavy at the top. Again, so important. What's the benefit of the content, right? Make sure you are sprinkling that in, you know. Betty Rocker, 5-step food prep and recipe guide. That's what they're going to get, you know, for a lean, healthy lifestyle. That's what they want. That's the benefit. So make this look like content. Again, the image is branded. You'll see all of our DM content ads, we use this same exact template because we want it to be very branded to us. But the same thing applies. Look, Betty took this picture and photoshopped in, the food prep behind her. It's very branded to her brand. Look at her page photo up there. It's very similar to this photo that she's using. It's branded. Again, you're introducing yourself to these people, and you're also portraying the marketing message, right? So, you know, she used that photo, and any person who's interested in food prep knows what that means. With us, we put a little text on it. We're content marketing myth busting, right? Spark your curiosity there a little bit. So the headline should be the headline of your piece of content. That's it. Rebuttal, the actual greatest misconception in content marketing. You'll see that that is the blog post title when you hop over to DM. And then there at the bottom is just a summary of the content, right? Digital marketers, content marketing experts show you why Moz is wrong when they claim that direct conversions cannot be attributed to content marketing. So just sum it up a little bit there. But this is really the template for your ads to a cold audience, and very, very important that it screams content and value. So in terms of the images, I said branded images are great, or photos, like Bree used here. And Russ and Lindsay and Susie can pop this into chat, but this is another great link for designing Facebook ad images if you have no design experience. Our designer actually wrote this post for you guys, step-by-step walkthrough of how to create ad images. So if that's a barrier to entry for you, definitely check out that link, digitalmarketer.com/design-facebook-ad-images, just to give you another resource there. So you guys might thinking, Molly, you're talking about cold traffic to content, but how do we create the content, right? I'm not a writer. I don't have a website. Well, number one, I'm going to turn the mic over to Russ because he knows way more about this than I do. But if you don't have a website, you can hop on to leadpages.com, right? And they have a native advertising template, and you can literally create a standalone page that is a blog post. So do not let you not being a writer or you not having a website keep you from creating these videos or creating these little valuable pieces of writing to send cold traffic to. And Russ is about to explain a 6-step process for creating these value pieces and creating them quickly and creating them even if you aren't a writer. Like seriously, anyone out there can create these pieces of content that Russ is about to explain. So Russ, I'll hand it over to you.
Awesome. Well, first of all, wow. I mean, guys, if you're getting something out of this, let us know in the comments area if you are just blown away by the value, because we're going to switch gears here and talk a little content, because Molly's been talking to you about how you've got to be initially running this cold traffic into content. And the question is, how do you create this content that actually sells, right? Now, so right now we're at a slide called begin with the end. I should say the end. I don't know why it says unend, but so you begin with the end. In the next slide, we are going to, I want you to have a look at this next slide here where it says start by writing the call to action. So again, we're going to look at this article that was written there was a clear reason why we wrote this article, and it had a clear call to action inside of it. And so the first thing you want to do when you're creating content that you want to sell something is forget the headline, forget what you're going to write about. Don't even think about what the topic is going to be. Don't worry about any of that. Just to open up, a Word document or open up WordPress and write the thing backwards. Okay, so you start with what the end needs to be, and so you start by writing the call to action. So you can see on the right there, you can see that there's this little text there on the slide that says, note, want to create a blog content plan in 60 seconds or less by filling in 5 simple blanks? Yes, it's really that simple. Get Digital Marketer's 60-second blog content plan here for free. That's the call to action.
Yeah, and that's one of our lead magnets. So think about, what do you want your warm traffic to do, right? For example, in Betty Rocker's blog post, she sent them right to a low-dollar offer to buy more meal plans. So if that's your call to action, go with it. If you're going to a lead magnet, make the lead magnet the call to action. So this is, what do you want your warm traffic to do, especially because you're sending cold traffic here, and you never know, at the end of the post, they may go ahead and opt in. They may not even wait for the retargeting ad or know that it's coming. Yep. So make sure that offer is congruent, for the piece of content.
Congruency between the piece of content and the offer is the number one, indicator as to whether or not the post is going to convert. I mean, we will see 10 times the amount of clicks on the calls to action that we put in these blog posts when the offer is relevant to the piece of content. So if you don't have any other offer to put in the piece of content, put something in there. But the more relevant it is, clearly, all of our testing shows it's going to massively increase the number of people that are clicking on and doing what you want them to do. So you start there. You start by writing the call to action. What do you need what are you going to want them to ultimately do? In the next slide, we talk about answering a series of questions. So you're going to work backwards from your call to action. You're going to start thinking about things like, what do I need this prospect to believe? All right, so somebody reading this blog content, what do I need them to believe in order to take the next step towards becoming a customer or a lead for you? So what do you need them to believe? What objections do they have, right? Like, if they weren't going to download something or they weren't going to buy something, why wouldn't they, right? Like, what is their objection? What does a prospect need to know before they'll buy or opt in, right? So do they need some bit of information before they would be able to make an educated decision to move forward? How can you be useful but incomplete? So you don't want your blog post to provide the same benefit as as ultimately the opt-in or the purchase gives the prospect. So you want to be useful, absolutely. Like, your post needs to stand alone, it needs to provide tremendous value, but it needs to be incomplete from what you have to offer them next to upgrade or ascend to the next level. And then another thing to be thinking about when you're creating this kind of content is, how can you raise problem awareness? So a lot of times when you're going out to this cold traffic, these people don't even realize that they have a problem or that a problem exists. And you can use your content to raise that awareness. And of course, your call to action at the end, where you say, okay, so now go buy this, or go opt in for X, or go download this, or whatever you're asking them to do, that's going to raise solution awareness. So as you're going to say, use the content to raise problem awareness, and use the CTA, the call to action, to raise solution awareness, that you have the solution to this problem. So let's kick to the next slide. The next thing you want to be thinking about is a splinter. All right, so one of the easiest ways to find content to be running cold traffic to is just to splinter something that comes from a larger product or service that you're either selling or offering as an opt-in. In the next slide, I have an example, I think. Kick to the next slide there, Molly. Let's see. Yeah, so for a logo designer, let's say you're selling logo design for $39, and over here you could create a piece of content that says, how to choose a color scheme for your logo design. So you remember the questions that we asked, right? Somebody may not be aware that there are different color schemes for, say, people in the finance space or people in the medical space that for example, you don't want to use red in your logo if you're in the medical space, right? You don't use red. You'll often see like softer colors like blues and stuff like that. And of course, in the investment space, you're going to see a lot of greens and stuff like that. A blog post about color schemes and how color can interact, with your logo to make people feel certain things would be something interesting to somebody that's looking to redesign or build an original logo. And so you can use that to ultimately make them aware that there is this issue, right? That you got to pick the right colors, okay? And then you can make them by the way, we do logo design, or you can retarget people that hit this page with an offer for logo design. But in any case, what you're looking for is something useful but incomplete. You're looking for something that makes them problem aware, something that they need, and you can easily do this by splintering out. Look at your services that you provide, look at your products that you provide, and look for little bits and pieces that somebody would be interested in, and and that you could use sort of as cheese to get them to raise their hand, so that you can ultimately come back in and retarget them with an appropriate offer.
Awesome.
Let's look at the next slide. All right, so the next thing we want to do is pick a post type.
So this is step 3.
Step 3, right. So picking a post type.
Hey, Russ, and hold on just a second, guys. A lot of people are asking if we've gone over all the campaigns. We've only gone over one so far, right? So sending traffic to a cold audience. So we do have 2 and 3 coming, and actually 1B, 2 and 3, and I promise it'll probably only be about 20 more minutes or so.
Yeah. So in the next slide, I'll show you some different post types, and so there's a number of different ways to create really great content and do it really, really fast, and you can do that. Here are 5 really great post types that you can use. One is called a listicle. All right, and if you look in the chat box, guys, you'll see that I put a link earlier on to the slides, to a PDF version of these slides, and I've got these little links next to there that have the little link there that says example. Well, if you click on those will take you over to some example posts that use these different post types. But you've got the listicle, which is essentially, people love lists. They love, 101 different types of North American trees. All right, so that would be, 101 different types of North American trees might be something that the botanical gardens in your local area might run to get people to raise their hand that are interested in trees or plants and things like that. Right, so you run this big long listicle, and then you run ads to it to get people to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested in trees. How-to posts might be more appropriate for somebody if you're looking to raise authority or trust for you and your brand. So you could run, how-to anything. In that type of post, is just a staple to the content marketing world. But then you can run these other types of posts. These are very fast to put together, like the content aggregator, the crowdsourced posts, and the embed reactor. The content aggregator is simply going out and finding the most viral stuff already online about a particular topic. So the example that I give for this, if you click on that example thing, I don't think we want to do that right now, Molly, but if you want to, you can. But the example I've got there is 21 different 21 best guacamole recipes, and that's from one of our blog properties. And all we did was just go out there and find the most viral, all the content that was already most viral, and aggregate it together into one place. And we use a tool called BuzzSumo to find what's already viral in the guacamole recipe world, right? Or insert any topic there, and find the most viral stuff on a particular topic, aggregate it together, and then use paid traffic to amplify that piece of content and segment them based on, so what do we know about somebody that's going and viewing the 21 best guacamole recipes? We know there might be a foodie, they're interested in cooking and recipes and things like that. We can follow up with the right offer after that. The crowdsourced post is a great one for people in the B2B space, and really anything, but it's really great in the B2B space where you just ask 3 or more different people the same question, right? And so that question might be, again, we've talked about this bicep exercise example earlier. What is the best bicep exercise? You ask 3 to 10 to 20 different physical trainers. They're all going to give you a different bicep exercise. You aggregate those together. You give everybody credit, right? You say, here's all the 20 different physical trainers that we asked this question to, and here's all of their best bicep exercises. And that is a great, rich post that you can amplify through paid traffic. And then the embed reactor is something, I'll show you this one through example as we move on. So let's kick to the next slide. The next thing you want to do is create the hook. And the best way to create a hook, because everything that you do communications-wise when you're trying to persuade somebody to do something needs a hook, all right? Whether it's an email or a sales letter or a blog post, if you're trying to really persuade somebody to do something, and really anytime, if you want somebody to just read what you've written or consume the content that you've created, you need a hook. And so what we mean by a hook, and the best way for you to ensure that you have a decent hook is to write a good working headline before you even start writing your content. So the best way to do that is to find a swipe file. So we actually, Lindsay, if you could pop our swipe file into the chat box, guys, you can just go grab our swipe file that has a lot of these different headline formulas in it. But just to give you some examples of headlines that ensure, as long as you stay true to your headline, that you're going to have a decent hook to what you're talking about. So here's one, how impressive person or group does XYZ, right? So how Harvard law students cram for exams. That's a good hook, right? You're not just saying, well, here, let me show you how to cram for an exam. Instead, you're saying, let me show you how Harvard law students cram for exams. That's a good hook where you say, it's not just about how to cram for exam. I'm going to show you how this world-class example does it. Number of ways to get a desired result. So 101 ways to tie a fishing knot. If you're trying to segment and get people to raise their hand out to cold media, people that are interested in fishing, that will get a click, right? Somebody says, oh, there's 101 ways to tie a fishing knot. And really, maybe even better for this example would have been the single best fishing knot, right? Because if I'm a fisherman, I don't need 101 ways to tie a knot. I need the best one. So you could try either one of those. You could try 101 knots, or you could try the ultimate knot, right? The single fishing knot that ends all be all, right? But either way, it's the same formula, a number of ways to get to a desired end result. These are formulas, guys, and these work over and over again. They've been proven to work. Another example, how to get desired end result without an undesired action. So how we generated 55,825 unique visits in 29 days without even writing the blog post, right? So we didn't do the undesired thing. We didn't write the blog post, but we got all the good stuff, all right? So that's another great formula and a great hook, all right? So you want to have a good hook, and the best way to do that is to start with a good, strong working headline, and to do that, you want to go grab a headline swipe file, and it looks like Lindsay is awesome and put our headline swipe file into the chat box for you guys. The second to last thing is to edit for consumability. So in the next slide, I'm going to show you the two best ways to edit for consumability. But first, let me tell you that if they don't consume your content, if they don't read it or watch the entire video or do whatever, they are not going to get to the call to action. All right, and they're not going to become as indoctrinated to you as you want them to. So you want to do everything you can to make sure that your content is consumable, and the two best ways to do that is first, work on your opening. All right, that opening, that intro needs to be very good. And I stole this idea of this thing called the greased chute, okay, from a guy named Joe Sugarman, who is a famous copywriter. So he talks about this idea of the greased chute, which is to say that you need to get that person rolling down the page in order for them to continue to consume your content. And you do not want to put any speed bumps in front of them to do that. So the best way to do that is you start with a introductory line to your piece of content that is both short and easy to read and also induces curiosity. So a few examples. These are all openings to blog posts that we've published at Digital Marketer that did well. The first line on this first post is, "You finally found it." All right, so if you've been pulled in by the headline of this blog post, and then the first line is, "You finally found it," it's impossible for you really to not read the second line of the sentence of the blog post. So it's all a big lie. All right, that's another opening that we've used here at Digital Marketer to get people rolling down the grease chute. So it's all a big lie. What's a big lie, right? If I'm there reading this post, how can I not read the next sentence? And each sentence that you can get them through, and that's why the intro is so important. If you can get them through that intro, get them rolling down the page, it's harder for them to stop, and more of them will get through your content than not if you can get them through the intro. So Another one we've used, raise your hand if you've ever said the following. How can you not keep reading if somebody says, raise your hand if you've ever said the following? You just literally have to. Another curiosity-based one we use at the opening of a blog post, 382,542. That's a number. It doesn't, you have to read the next sentence to see what is this number doing here, what does it mean, and so we opened with a number. The second thing you need to do to format for consumability and get people to read the content that you're paying good money to drive people to is to format that text, guys. Throw your composition book right in the trash can and start using more bullets, more numbered lists, more block quotes, more bolding, italics, and underlining, lots of line breaks. You should not have, for the most part, you shouldn't have stuff appearing on the internet that has paragraphs with 5 and 6 and 7 sentences in those paragraphs that look like giant mountains to your reader. So you want to break all of that up, even in places where you're like, this is really should be all part of the same paragraph. Doesn't matter. Break it up. Use punchy sentences. We overuse the ellipsis here at Digital Marketer. We are chronic overusers of the ellipsis because periods stop people, all right? And I don't like people to stop reading. I use the ellipsis because the ellipsis tells you to sort of keep moving, right? So use subheadlines. Use as much as you can to format the text and make it look consumable. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to have a blog post that looks completely ridiculous with all this different bolding and underlining you can't figure out. Lindsay, if you could pop in an article called, that article about copy cosmetics from the blog, that would be awesome too. And if you guys are interested more in how to use cosmetics, copy cosmetics to make your content more consumable, I encourage you to read that as well. So last one, add calls to action. Insert
most important part.
yeah, don't forget guys, like it floors me when people say, should I have calls to action in my blog posts? And it's like, absolutely, and especially if it's relevant, it will crush. It will do really, really well. Like we will see as high as 10% of people that read the blog post just go ahead and convert right there, depending on the relevancy. And even irrelevant stuff, like it's still a good call to action, but it might be a lead magnet that's not directly associated with the content that we wrote. We'll still see 2%, which is, it's worth it to put that call to action in there, even if all you're doing is just raising awareness for an offer that you have. And then, of course, in our case, we have Molly coming in behind doing all the retargeting because we know that in this example here that we have this article here that's the actual greatest misconception in content marketing. What do we know about this person? We know they're interested in content marketing, so they would probably be interested in a 60-second blog plan, right? So that's a little lead magnet that we have. We ask them for an opt-in there, and that offer right there converted at 8% right from the blog post. So cold traffic. Cold traffic comes in, reads the post. 8% of them take the 60-second blog plan. The rest of them are going to get the retargeting that Molly's been talking to you about.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ross. So hopefully, guys, that little mini training really helps you overcome the whole content thing. And Russ gave you lots of good examples there. Also, of course, all of the different types of posts, the embed reactor, everything that Russ talked about, we actually have templates of all of those posts inside of Lab, and we have an execution plan called the Content Engine, which walks you step by step, Russ does, through all of the different types of posts, how to use them. So, if you join for $1 today, you will get that too at digitalmarketer.com/lab-trial. So thank you, Russ.
Yeah, let me just throw more thing in there. I mean, Molly worked so hard on this, and I think you see that we're very excited about all this stuff, and we love talking about this stuff. That's all we're talking about inside Lab. And anybody that is still on this call at this point, which is a lot of people, this call is still jam-packed full, should be in Lab. I mean, especially for $1. If you're still on this call,
no-brainer.
If you're still on this call, you need to be in there talking with us because we're always talking about this stuff inside of Lab and in the Facebook group and everything. So anyway.
All right, cool. So let's move through these last campaigns, guys. So this is going to be campaign 1B, and this was the how to pixel for a penny that I talked about on the landing page. So this is cold traffic to a Facebook video. So it's actually a Facebook video ad. And when someone watches your video, and depending on how long they watch your video, it's going to pixel them. And it's going to create audiences for you inside of Facebook if you do it right. It's going to create audiences that you can then retarget to. So very cool. You can put a content video or just a cool video as your ad in Facebook and select the right targeting and start to pixel these people. It's a way to pixel without sending them to your website. And we've been doing it for a penny a pixel, which is very, very cheap. So the campaign budget here would be $6 a day. Again, this is just a different type of cold traffic ad than going straight to a blog post like we talked about. Success metric is cost per pixel. You have to set these up in Power Editor. If you don't know how to use Power Editor, of course, we have an office hours in lab about Power Editor. So you need to create the ad in Power Editor for this to work. It's a new thing. These Facebook video ads and creating the audiences off of the videos, it's a new thing. So you must set it up in Power Editor, and you must set the Facebook objective as video views for the audiences to populate. We've tested the crap out of this, and we found that the best bidding strategy for this type of ad is to pay per 10-second view. And when you go to set up the ad, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about there. Same targeting structure that you would use for the blog post. It's just a different ad medium, right? It's a video instead of, just an image that clicks over to a blog post. And here are just some crazy results that we've been getting. You'll see our per video view 0.01, 0.02. Look at all the views that we've generated. We've pixeled 368,000 people for a little less than $6,000, which is crazy. You'll see the custom audiences over here that we're building from these ads. So just proof that this really does work. And if you want to see an example, you can do go.digitalmarketer.com/Brittany, BRITNEY, and you'll see that the video ad here is instructional. It's very cool. It's a fast-forward version of Brittany, our designer, creating our Facebook ad images. But you'll also notice that I put a link to our Facebook ad templates here in the copy. So this is kind of a hybrid cold/warm ad. Very cool. And then, of course, we're retargeting the people watching these videos with an ad that we'll talk about here in a second that goes straight for the lead. So I just want to show you guys this new kind of ad through Facebook video ads, and very similar to running to a blog post. Just keep in mind that you are pixeling people for a lot cheaper, but they won't necessarily be as qualified as people who actually visit your site, right? Still very effective, and this is campaign 1B, right? A Facebook video ad. So we've talked about cold traffic, right? And these campaigns that go to cold traffic. So you've built your audiences, right? You've built these custom audiences, you've sent people to your site, or maybe you've pixeled them through a video, maybe you ran promoted tweets to send them to your site, maybe you ran sponsored promotions on LinkedIn, maybe you're running AdWords to content. Wherever you're running traffic, you have sent people to something of value, people who didn't know you before to something of value. So now it's time to talk about the warm traffic, and this is where you're going to spend $3 a day. And depending on your business model, this is going to take those people that you've warmed up to a lead magnet or a low dollar offer. So again, this would be $3 a day. And depending on what you're sending them to, the success metric is either going to be cost per lead or cost per acquisition. How much did it cost me to get someone to make that low dollar purchase? So when running these ads on Facebook, You want to use website conversions. And, again, inside of Lab, we have an EP called the Facebook Social List Building EP that will show you how to set up these particular ads. But basically, you're going to take a snippet of code from your Facebook account and you're going to put it on the page after they would opt in or after they would make this low dollar purchase. So that's going to tell Facebook, I don't just want clicks to my website like I did with the blog post. I actually want people who are going to opt in or people who are going to make this low dollar purchase. So your objective should be website conversion for that particular pixel. And sometimes if this doesn't work, if you're working at a really low volume here, switch your objective to website clicks and see if you get better results. Just kind of a tip there. In terms of bidding, when the objective is website conversions, you want to leave it on get the most conversions at the best price. If the objective is clicks, then you want to go with the same bidding structure that I talked about in campaign 1A, which would be to bid for clicks and bid 6 cents higher than the highest suggested bid. Now keep in mind here, we're retargeting those custom audiences that you built in the first campaign, right? That's what we're doing with this. So when you go to fill out your targeting, you're going to select those custom audiences. You're not going to select interest anymore. You're retargeting those people who you've pixeled. If you really feel like testing it out, you feel like you can take your lead magnet straight to cold traffic, you can follow the interest and the 500,000 to 1 million targeting strategy we talked about in the first campaign, but be very careful. It's like asking for someone, asking someone to do something for you that you've never met before. So be very careful running lead magnet ads and ads to purchase directly to a cold audience. So here are some examples of ads where we ask for people to opt in, right? So on the left is an ad for our blog post template, right? Want to create blog content fast without having to write a single line of text, right? That's the benefit. That's the specific benefit of this lead magnet. Download our perfect blog post template and get your post up and running today. Very nice image. We use the headline as simply whatever the deliverable is. Use the content aggregator template to create viral posts, blog posts fast without having to write a single line of text. Download the template and get your post up and running today. Just reiterating what we were saying at the top. And this is going to go to the lead magnet landing page. So a great example right there. And again, this blog post template plus 6 more are inside of the content engine execution plan inside of Lab. Here's another example. It's for our social media swipe file lead magnet. Copy and paste these 72 proven headline formulas to get more clicks from Facebook, Twitter, and your own blog. Headline is the ultimate social media swipe file. Below that in the copy, we're reiterating. Notice that we're using really engaging images here. To catch attention. And again, this is going to the lead magnet landing page in an effort to convert that warm traffic to a lead for digital marketer. Here's another example, and this is the same lead magnet that Russ talked about in the last piece of content that he covered, right? So we retarget people who hit that post about content marketing with this 60-second blog plan ad. Again, it's a lead magnet. You can create a blog content plan in 60 seconds or less by filling in these 5 simple blanks. Yes, it really is that simple. Again, the headline is exactly what it is, the 60-second blog plan, and in the copy below, we're reiterating. Again, the traffic is going to the lead magnet landing page. So these are all ads that we're running to warm traffic to convert them into a lead. So what is the template here, right? When you're running ads to a warm audience to ask them for that low dollar purchase or to ask them to opt in. With the top, you really want to hit a pain point again, right? And if you can't necessarily hit a pain point, definitely speak to a specific end benefit, right? Want to create blog content fast without having to write a single line of text? Of course, I'm sure there are a lot of you on here that would love to do that, right? So it's the copy has a very specific and benefit and a strong call to action. Download our perfect blog post template and get your post up and running today, right? The image, again, is eye-catching, portrays the marketing message, and whenever we can, we try to show a visual. So even though you're downloading these templates online, here is still a visual of what these things are, right? The headline is simply what it is, the blog post template, and in the bottom newsfeed description, we're reiterating and we're adding another call to action to tell them exactly what to do. So this is the template you should follow when you're hitting your warm audience and you're asking them to opt in or you're asking them to buy. So again, these specific ads for lead generation, this step-by-step process is laid out in the Facebook social list building execution plan if you take the lab trial. So once you've generated leads and sales, what kind of ads do you run to, more of a hot audience? And think of this more as retargeting for the next step. So whatever you were asking them to do here, if you were asking them to opt in, then we need to retarget them to ask them to buy in case they didn't take that action. If you're asking them to make a low dollar purchase, we need to move them along the funnel. And all of this can be automated throughout the funnel, and this is your $1 a day budget. So the success metric is cost per acquisition. I forgot to take cost per lead off of there, I'm sorry. But this is either asking them to take, that next step for that tripwire purchase or, whatever the next step in your funnel is. For Facebook, you're going to use clicks to website, just like you did for the first campaign. Your targeting is just custom audiences, right? So people who hit my lead magnet landing page minus people who hit the tripwire sales page, those people that didn't opt in, or people who bought, people who did opt in and didn't buy the tripwire, right? Sorry, my mind's getting tired. But this is strictly custom audience targeting when you retarget throughout the funnel. The bidding is exactly the same as the first campaign, bid for clicks, 6 cents higher than suggested bid. So this is really the instructions for these retargeting campaigns. These are the easiest campaigns to set up and hardly anyone does them, and you're leaving. We make about 40% of our revenue from media from retargeting ads. So if you're not setting these up, and I'm not even talking about retargeting people who hit your content with a lead magnet, I'm talking about moving them down your funnel. You should be doing that. So again, you're going to ask them to take the next step, whatever that means for your business. So say they opted in for the blog post templates, but they didn't buy the $7 content engine execution plan. We're going to retarget them with this ad. So notice a few things. We used the copy. Did life get in the way? You forgot to take advantage of this deal. You can use that for any retargeting ad. We use that for all of our funnel retargeting ads. Again, not ads that we're running to people who have just hit our content, but anyone who's already opted in, we're going to use that same copy. On the image, notice that we're making it similar but different from the last ad that they would have seen for the blog templates. So they know it's familiar, but they're also not confused as to thinking it's the same ad. So the image is similar but different enough. The headline, enjoy the blog template, it's totally fine to acknowledge that you're retargeting them, right? It's going to catch their attention. Take advantage of this offer and get a step-by-step guide for building your content engine today. So this is for people that opted in and didn't buy the $7 report. So we're sending them right back over to that $7 sales page with this retargeting ad. Again, this is going to depend on your business, but use this retargeting to move them along to the next step. Oops, I got this, darn it. Sorry guys, I got this one wrong. I'll have to go back and fix this. But basically the template for this is any retargeting ad that's not just a content, any retargeting ad in the funnel, use the copy. Did life get in the way? Question mark. You forgot to take advantage of this deal. You're totally fine to swipe that copy because you're not acknowledging that they said no, right? You're saying that, you know, maybe they didn't have their credit card, maybe they lost, you know, internet connection. Something happened where they couldn't take the next step. So you're just reminding them and you're asking them if life got in the way. Again, the image is similar but different enough from the ad that would have, you know, been with the previous step. In the headline, we acknowledge that they download the blog templates, and then in the newsfeed description, we're simply reiterating, you know, take advantage of this offer and get a step-by-step guide for building your content engine today. And of course, if you want to learn how to set up full funnel retargeting, we have the boomerang traffic plan. So I'll show you step by step how to set up all of these audiences, what the ads look like, what the targeting looks like, because I know that can be a little confusing. But you can set these up so that they're automated, right? So if they do go back and end up buying, they'll quit seeing that ad. So very, very cool feature there. So guys, that's all I've got. I know we ran pretty long. Again, I'm sorry I didn't know exactly how long that was going to take, but I hope that you got a ton out of this. Again, if you want the recording, this is a different link, but it'll go to the same place, digitalmarketer.com/lab-trial or /LP/lab-trial. Join Lab for $1. You'll get the recording, but you'll also get some really cool stuff like weekly calls just like this with Russ, myself, any special guests. We also have monthly webinars on what's working now in digital marketing so that we can keep you up to date before we actually produce a full execution plan on the topic. We add a new execution plan or update one every month. So anything from, you know, how to get started and launch in 21 days, how to build your landing pages, right? How to use Twitter, how to use AdWords, LinkedIn. We have, you know, the boomerang traffic, the content engine EP. I think we have like 36 execution plans now. Basically anything that you could want to do in this space, we do have inside of the members area, and we're always adding, always updating. I think most importantly, the DM Engage community. So we have a private Facebook group that Russ, myself, Susie, Lindsay, Ryan, Richard, the entire team is in there every day answering your questions, and there's some really smart marketers. You know, you can post your ads for review, your landing pages for review. You can get reviews on your funnels. You can ask if you think something's a silly question. It's not. We're there to help you. We're also in the next few weeks adding a perks section, so that's coming soon, and that's going to be discounts on most of the landing page builders, social media tools, all the tools we use at DM. We've tried to you know, reach out to them and get a discount from you all, and you'll get access to those if you become a lab member. So I think it's pretty much a no-brainer, and I don't really have much else to say on that, but would love to see you in lab, digitalmarketer.com/lab-trial.
Can you show them, there's a couple of people asking the exact execution plans that they would, I know, can you show them Facebook social list building inside lab, and just so the ones that are going to jump in can easily access
Absolutely.
there's two that will absolutely two execution plans in there that will augment what you've learned here on this call today.
Okay, so here's what the members area looks like. So all of the EPs are down here. So you would want to hop to the content engine. That's what Russ went over with the blog templates.
Yep.
Keep scrolling down. Boomerang traffic is the retargeting that we talked about. Mm-hmm. Facebook social list building, that's, you know, to warm traffic. That's going to be for leads. And was that it?
Yeah, those are the three I think that will really augment what you've learned today.
And
Um, the
And if you
record,
join, the recording and my slides will be right here under what's working now. I'm sure Lindsay will get that up in the next few hours. No pressure, Linz, but get that up for you guys here. Office hours, of course. I mean, all these calls that Russ and I do. And then, DM Engage, you can see how active
yep.
this community is,
If
and
you
that's
go in
really
there,
my favorite part.
if you're stuck or you're looking to network with people, DM Engage. And can you jump into DM Engage one more time? Because
Yeah.
there's been a number of people that I've told that they were asking for links and of stuff to
Yeah.
things inside Lab. And guys, anytime you need help inside Lab, you can tag me, you can tag Lindsay, you'll see us in there. Like we're in there all the time. And there's about 8,000 other really, really generous marketers in there, but we will point you to anything that you need and help you out with anything you need. And this
Absolutely.
actually, DM Engage, the Facebook group, is probably the number that is probably the best part. And there's a lot of great parts to Lab, but Engage is a really, really powerful community of marketers all in there helping each other out. And
all right, guys. Well, Russ, I don't know. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark.
Right.
So, if there's like maybe one big question we can answer, we're running really low on time.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that came up a few times is that if they wanted to scale this, like your 6:1 ratio is really more of a ratio, right? Like
absolutely, that's
use it to sell.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning.
60-30-10.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And actually, guys, if you go on the blog today, you'll see an article that Molly wrote about scaling Facebook ad campaigns,
Right.
and that would be relevant to that conversation. There's a lot of very circumstantial questions in here because we had 1,000 people on the call, and guys, the best way to get those questions answered is to pop them into the DM Engage Facebook group. If you're going to join, like I said, we have the $1 trial, and circumstantial things that are specific to your business. That's why that Facebook group is so awesome, because you go in there, you ask questions about your circumstances and how to apply the training that you're learning on these calls and in the execution plans, and we can get down into your specifics and your circumstances. But yeah, a lot of people say we should go to the 3-hour mark.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that, guys.
Molly's hurting, and guys, if you got something out of this call, please let Molly know in the comment section. If you decide to join Lab, which if you're still on the call, I honestly don't know how you couldn't, for $1, jump in there. We're talking about this stuff all day long. If you do decide to join, pop into the DM Engage Facebook group. You'll get an email that will invite you to that Facebook group. Say hi to Russ. Say hi to Lindsay. Say hi to Susie. Say hi to Ryan Dice. Say hi to Richard Lindner. Say hi to Molly Pittman, and thank her so much for how many hours of sleep have you had in the last 24 hours, Molly?
Not very much, but it feels good to be done, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I really hope to see you in Lab. Again, it's not even a pitch for us. Like, this is what we do, and our goal is to double the size of 10,000 businesses, and we really mean that, and Lab is the vehicle that we want to do that through. So would love to see you, and this is just a little sample of what you would get every week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the idea here. I mean, if we want to talk selfishly, the idea here is to give you guys a taste of what we're doing inside Lab all the time. Plus, you guys are on Digital Marketers List, and we want to give you tremendous value as well. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we put out outside of Lab, we're working really, really hard to make sure that it's the best information. And we decided, hey, why not run a webinar like we do inside Lab to everybody, and just let people get an idea of what it's like to be a Lab member. So, Guys,
Absolutely.
Molly, this was really, really fantastic.
Thank
Thank you, and thank you, Lindsay and Susie, for being on there. I know you were answering tons of questions, and hopefully we'll see you all inside Digital Marketer Lab, and if not, we'll see you on the blog maybe. How about that?
Yeah, thanks guys. Talk to you
All right.
soon.
Bye-bye, everybody.